Hi, my name is Joe Jackson. I'm a journalist, author, interviewer, broadcaster, and podcaster. But before all that and through it all, I was and I remain an Elvis fan. In fact, a documentary I made called Conversations About the King was nominated for a prestigious Best Music Documentary Award in Ireland in 2018. And in it, I used a minute or two from an hour and a half interview I did with songwriter Ben Weisman in Memphis in 1992. What follows is the full exchange, 10 minutes or so, about how songs for which he composed the music, such as Wooden Heart, and in particular Follow That Dream, led me all the way from, in the first instance, becoming an Elvis fan while watching the movie GI Blues at the age of 9, to traveling the world to track down anyone who knew or worked with the King simply so I could get a better sense of who the man was and maybe even why he died prematurely at the age of only 42. An abridged version of Conversations About the King is already available as a podcast. And if you want to read some of my articles about Elvis, check joejacksoninterviewer.com. Well, I can tell you that Wooden Heart kind of brings us people and brought us together. When I was a kid on youth club holidays, it became my song. It's a song that made me an Elvis fan, so Joe would sing it. And you'd have 52 kids away on holidays singing your melody in a little country town down around Ireland.
Thrill. This thrills me because, the writer is like in reckless. He says, it's a thrill for people to say this.
But that's why I want, and I'll have to write this if I'm putting together my articles anywhere, to say that, to the rest of us around the world, because too many of the rock critics are based in America, they have an American perspective.
Yes.
To the rest of us in Europe, in Indonesia, in Japan, in England, India, the movies brought Elvis to us.
May I tell you a little
Nothing
story?
else.
A few days ago, they had a gentleman by the name of Ronnie McDowell was singing in front of the Graceland gates, and they were interviewed for TNN studio. And I was standing there. I happened to meet him, and Ronnie says, "My God, come with me in my bus." You happen to meet him. I met him. He said, "Stay with me." So I'm standing there by Graceland, by the gate, and he introduced me. By the way, this is Ben Weisman, 57th. Wonderful. Now, in the meantime, I'm standing there, and there's a Pakistani from Pakistan, a blind boy, maybe 22, standing there on the side. And his father says, "You, Mr. Weisman, did you write a lot of songs for?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, my son knows it. What songs did you write?" I said, "Follow That Dream." The boy goes, "I'm going to follow that dream." This is blind. I could actually cry now. I was so moved by it. Singing Follow That Dream. This blind boy standing there from Pakistan, singing. And then what else? And as long as I have you, let the stars fade and fall. I looked at this blind boy standing there. I tell you, for a writer, to have this coming at you is the biggest thrill of my lifetime.
Well, tell me what that is, because the first EP I ever bought was Follow That Dream. It became my theme song. I still sing it when a girlfriend and I break up. Yeah.
Oh my God.
When I go into, the lyric, which is, someday I'll find a girl who'll share the dream instead of whatever.
Yes.
And when I've cried at the end of a love affair or loss, I play that.
Oh my God.
And I still have the 1964 EP pinned up over my writing desk.
Oh my God.
Right? Well, and I know that, Bruce Springsteen does Follow That Dream. He's one of the only other people I know who ever noticed EP songs and movie songs were as important to us.
It's so strange that you brought up Bruce Springsteen. Someone said, there's an album that was recorded in Stockholm, Sweden, called Follow That Dream. I said, "There's an album?" He never recorded it. He said, I said, "Are you sure it's my song?"
Concert show.
Yeah. So someone bootlegged it, and the album's called Follow That Dream. I said, I haven't got it yet. I says, I'll pay whatever. I'd like to have it for my collection. Anyway. Yeah. Bruce Springsteen was giving a concert in LA, and I wanted to meet him. So I went backstage. When they heard I was there, he threw everybody in the room and said, "Ben," because he was a big Elvis fan.
I know.
And now when he sings Follow That Dream, he sings it like a very slow ballad.
Oh, I see, right.
I'm going to follow that dream.
Right, I hadn't heard his version.
God. And then he adds his own verse, which he wrote at the end of the song.
Oh, I didn't know
and
that.
I says, "My God." And he said, "I hope you don't mind." He says, "Anything you want to do it, because it'll help the song."
Right.
And I was heartbroken because the movie just came out called, I think, Las Vegas Honeymoon.
Right.
And a lot of Elvis songs were coming out by
different artists. I've heard about this.
And they had asked Bruce Springsteen, "Would you sing Follow That Dream in that track?"
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I would have been in this track. And then Bruce says, "Well, I'd rather do it in my own."
His own way. On his own album.
Yes, he didn't want to do it for this album. I was so disappointed. I could have been. They had asked him because it's epic. That's part of his label.
Right.
I said, "My God, he did." I could have.
But is he going to do it for his own album? No.
Well, I don't know.
I don't
know.
I can't see him
or
doing
something. One of the tracks.
some other
maybe.
context. No, because we had Bono and those people have recorded their Elvis songs for this movie. I only heard about Bono of U2. So, but anyway, I mean, I got to tell you, that song meant to have a lot to me.
Well,
That's one of the most important songs in my life.
You know, when I go home after this trip, writers have a kind of a being behind the scenes. They don't kind of bask in the glory of singers, and you feel a little bit like who really knows anything about you? Who knows? Ben Weisman, who knows about? And I've always felt nobody really knows, But when I came out here, and Joe, like you're telling me, I'm going back with people know my songs.
Inspired, I hope.
Oh, absolutely, because you get a feeling of a little inferiority complex. You wrote. I know. Nobody knows that you wrote it. I mean, it's very, very. I don't know what.
Yeah, no, I thought of it the other night when I was flying into Memphis. It's my second time here, and I'm saying, I'm coming in. I was very upset. It's near Elvis's anniversary. It meant a hell of a lot to me. And I just thought, what on earth took me from Wooden Heart, because it has to be the starting point, to here? And the logical point, like I was a 9-year-old boy, I loved the song Wooden Heart. My cousin taught me the words, we sang it. That's where it started. And it ends with me talking to you, or I'm here talking to you who wrote it. But Follow That Dream was the second song that came into my mind as the plane came down into Memphis.
My God.
I thought, well, this is the dream. I wrote an essay in school. I won a prize for it called Elvis, Meeting Elvis, in '68 when I was 16. And it was about how I met him on the Graceland land, and I described it very well. And because my English teacher said it was so good on an imaginative level, that triggered the dream of being a writer. So Follow That Dream became the whole theme song.
I'll shake your hand again.
You see what I mean?
Friends. Yes.
You know what I mean? So the song is as resonant to me as a 40-year-old as it was to the boy who bought the EP at 12.
My God.
So you got to believe in. But I think it has something got to do. The lyrics obviously have that thing, but it's also the rising melody. And I like Elvis's up version because he's going, you got to, and you bring it up.
Yes, and
so it's kind of reach for it.
Yes,
you know what I mean in the melody.
It's unbelievable. I'll tell you something. When I go back, I'm taking a lot of good feelings because
Good stuff.
Hi, Joe Jackson here again, and I thank you for listening to this edition of the Joe Jackson Interviews podcast. Don't forget, you can hear a version of the radio show Conversations About the King in which I used a section of that quote on all major podcast servers. And you can read my countless articles about Elvis at joejacksoninterviewer.com.